Yeah.
Alright, hello everyone. Everything Samsung Pro here. So today we are looking at the Galaxy On 5 and the Galaxy S5. So basically, main differences between these two are software because you can see there's a pretty big difference in the even just the icons um but these run this one works. The same version of Android, Android 6.0.1 and also Android 6.0.1. So you can see they're both Android Marshmallow, and yeah, but the skins are completely different. Most apparent in the interface at the top here. This one you can just swipe down again. This one there's a little button in the corner that you have to press to get all your things up there. And yeah, so we're gonna talk about user experience right now. Why did this just because both of us have used these phones. This one was someone else's, and I used this one for like a month or two. And yeah, so we're gonna talk about the basically what it is to use these phones, and yeah, how bad they are. Do you want to start?
Yeah. So the I guess is it Galaxy on 5?
Yeah,
So the Galaxy on 5, the storage is very small on there. I've experienced that once the storage gets more full, I guess, it gets very slow and you get constant reminders about it. And another thing is that the storage is already half taken up by the apps that are already installed on it. So it says it has like 8 gigabytes of storage on it, but yeah, and most of it's already taken up. So if I would record a video, I would have to delete it after I uploaded it to YouTube or something like that because what's the point of keeping it on my phone? Because it just takes up all that space. And I would have to look up videos on how to get more storage when they just tell me to clear data for apps that I'm using. So storage is very low and isn't the greatest, but I mean, it was my first phone, and that's pretty much all I have to say because I don't know anything else about the phone.
yeah. Also, one thing about these things is that they both have plastic removable backs, which is pretty nice because this battery to start with is like 2,800 milliamp hours, and it doesn't last that long. So you can go on Amazon and buy like a replacement one that lasts longer. And this one I'm actually not sure about. What do you say? Like, is it a good battery or is it bad?
I would say it could maybe last 5 hours of constant use. So
Yeah, with the expanded one on this, you could get like 5 hours of constant use with like YouTube or something. But this is nice if you just want to like replace the battery or something, like if it dies or something like that. It's way easier to replace than just like prying off the glass on like newer phones. But this one storage space isn't much better. It's got 15 or I've used 15.40 gigabytes out of 16 gigabytes. So it's better than 8 gigabytes, but it's still not great. Um, so next thing will be the cameras. The cameras on I know on the S5 is 8 megapixels. I don't know about the on 5, but you can see this is not good at all. It's probably mostly due to the software because if you go into the Messages app on this phone, or at least the Verizon one, um, just do shortcuts. You can see that it takes pictures pretty fast. But if you go to the actual camera app, sometimes it'll like go slow. Yeah, like that. So it's probably just a TouchWiz problem. But yeah. So the camera really isn't good on this, and also not to mention, I did actually crack the glass on it. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like right down the middle, so it has problems focusing. But that's kind of a me problem. So what do you have to say about this one?
Um, camera pretty horrible, and taking pictures in the dark is pretty hard. It just looks like fuzz, kind of like static on a TV, and it's very hard to see. And when you take a video, you can really notice that I don't know when you move it, it kind of does this wave, or I don't know,
Yeah,
like the
it's
term.
there's no image stabilization basically.
And then the video, not that great. I mean, it does move kind of smoothly, for like how old the phone is, but it kind of does this contrast thing a little bit, and it's
Yeah, it looks a
kind of
little.
weird.
It looks off. The contrast, but these are old phones. I know this one came out in 2014. I'm not exactly sure when that one came out, but I'm assuming it's probably around the same time.
Yeah, I got it. I got it maybe a year or a year and a half after it released. So
Yeah, so both of these are around the same time, and also you may be wondering why this one's cracked. It's just used.
I punched it.
Yeah, but you can see the software is obviously different. The even just the apps button is different on that one than this one, which is weird. I don't know why, but this one seems to have a newer version of TouchWiz than this one, which doesn't make any sense because they're both on the same version of Android. So I don't really know what it's playing out there, but I know for especially for this one, there's a lot of apps that aren't compatible. Like I was gonna do Geekbench for this, but if you search Geekbench 5, nothing comes up, and usually it's the first one. It's like it's stupid. So if you're even considering possibly using this phone, first of all, don't because it's not good. Um, and there's like no apps available. I mean, I got this stuff like Clash of Clans and Instagram and Twitter run on this, but they probably will stop after a while. I got some other stuff on here, but after a while, these things will just end support, and then you won't be able to use them anymore, which is annoying. But I mean, it's kind of expected. Android 6 is really old at this point, so yeah. And also, the buttons light up on this one, and they just stay there constantly on that one. Uh, yeah. So there's that.
So when he was talking about how many apps he had on his phone, I just was thinking that I can only download maybe like two apps on here that were maybe 500 megabytes and above. Not very much. Like when I first got the phone, I was so excited to download all these apps, but I downloaded maybe two apps and it was already telling me that my storage space was reaching its limit. So I was kind of disappointed in that, and really sucks how little storage it has. So do not use the On 5, and I guess the S5 would not be recommended as well.
Yeah, it's this one's just outdated software and stuff. This one actually, I'm sure they sell a version with like a higher storage amount, maybe like 32 gigabytes is the maximum, maybe. But 8 gigabytes, I'm assuming is probably the base model because I don't think anyone can go lower than 8 gigabytes because that would be terrible. Um, if there is a phone that has less storage than 8 gigabytes, I would really like to know. Also, why don't you explain what these mean? Because I don't think anyone's used to seeing these.
Oh, so the video I watched told me that I could transfer data to an SD card for an app, and I don't really know what that means, but I transferred it to the SD card, and then I took the SD card out, and it just pops up like that.
Yeah, so you can't open this. It's basically application is not installed. It's basically he probably just saved it to the SD card, like the whole app, downloaded it to the SD card, and then when you got removed, there's no more data on the phone because it's saved to the SD card. So, yeah. But that's basically the review of the On 5 and the S5. Both outdated, and I don't recommend you use them. So I'd say maybe minimum for age limit on a Samsung phone is probably the S7. You might be able to get away with using that, but I use that. And actually, I'll do a review on those soon. But yeah, that's basically it.